Today I'm replacing a U-joint on my Ford Ranger. I'm just moving the drive shaft with my hand. That should be more or less solid, so that's pretty bad. The only torque socket I have has the smaller drive. It's going to be really tough to get these bolts out of here with this socket. Okay, so I tried taking out the 4 Torx bolts holding the drive shaft on, or holding this yoke in place anyways. Couldn't get them off, they're seized right on there, broke my socket wrench trying, so I'm doing this a different way now. What I might try and do is actually just leave this yoke in place here and knock the U-joint loose. I'll take the clips out on both sides of the yoke, and then we'll have to see about knocking the caps out. So I've got a small pair of vice grips, I'm just going to squeeze them. I've got a 3/4 inch socket, which fits nicely in the cap here for the U-joint. So what I've been doing is I'm just hammering on the socket, I'm just knocking this through. This seems to be working so far, and it's slowly moving, it is coming out the other side. Alright, so I'm going to keep working at this and hopefully it comes out. Alright, so the bearing cap's almost through the yoke. As you can see, it's pushed in quite far. Not sure if you can see it on that side, but I can feel that it's just starting to come through. Alright, so I just knocked the cap all the way through, and as I started the video, the cap on the other side just fell right out. See if I can get this out of here now. As you can see, it's right loose in there now, so if I can get this cap off, I can just drop the drive shaft now. I almost forgot to mention, but before I take the drive shaft out, you want to make a mark with paint or a marker or something to make sure everything's all lined up in the same spot. It's balanced. Okay, so this isn't going to drop. What I'm doing now to get this out is, this is the other side where the cap's already popped off. Got the same 3/4 inch socket. And I'm just pounding it back the other way now. First cap I was hammering on is coming out this side. So I'm just going to keep banging on this from the other side until the drive shaft pops out. Pull this out here. Alright. That worked quite well, actually. And that's it. So here's the drive shaft on the ground. Before I go any further, I'm just going to put a bag on this end here to keep it clean. And we'll take this to the shop and knock out the old U-joint, put the new one in, and then we'll put it back in the truck. I've got the drive shaft just snug in a vise here. I've got some gloves to keep it from scratching. It's not real tight or anything, it's just tight enough to hold it in place. Just like last time, I'm going to take the vice grips, squeeze these pins out of here. Do the same for the other side. Trying to press this side through with the vise, but it's not budging even when I'm tapping on the drive shaft a bit here. I don't want to tap too hard, but just trying to free it up, but it's not moving. So what I might do is just hammer this one through too, just like I did the other one. Okay, so that's pounded all the way through. And there's the one cap there. I don't think you can see that, but looks like these ones still have the bearings in them. The other ones were completely gone. Not quite enough room for this to come out, so I'm going to have to pound it back through like I did the last one. Okay. The old one out. Now we'll have to clean this all up and put the new one in place. I'm just scraping out all the debris from where the snap ring goes into place, or whatever it's called. Using WD-40 to clean this up. I'm just checking my U-joint to make sure all these ends are the same size, because if they're different you need to make sure you put it in the right way, but looks like mine are all the same. I've got the side cap there just lined up on the top, and it's exactly the same size, so this can go either way, doesn't matter. I've taken off 2 of the caps, so I'm going to put this in this way first. This is all cleaned up. Before I put this in, I'm going to have to put one of the caps in here, at least part of the way. If I put it in all the way, I don't know if I'll be able to get this in place. So here's one of them here. I'm going to try and get it to the bottom first. I'm just going to tap up on this very gently. I don't want to dislodge any of the pins in there. Okay, so now I'll take the U-joint. This one's a bit different from the original because there's a grease plug here. I think it might be a bit easier to access this if I put it this way, facing the drive shaft. Because if it's pointing towards the back of the truck, there might be too much room with the differential and everything to get in there and fill it. The original was the same on both sides, so I don't think it really matters which way it goes. Okay, so what I just did is I kind of held this in place so it didn't pop up too much, because I don't want the bottom part popping out of the cap here. Otherwise the pins could unseat themselves, but I just kind of held this in place and tapped up from the bottom. So this cap is flush now. So again, I'm just checking the pins. They look good. I'll line them up here. And I'll gently, actually first I'm going to lift this into place to make sure all the pins are seated properly, then I'll gently tap on this and put that down. Alright, so now these are both seated flush with the drive shaft. So I'm going to take my socket and just hammer these down a bit more. I don't want to go any further than the groove in there, so I'll have to keep an eye on it and just go slowly, and same for both sides. Okay, so these are both seated right where they should be. I've got a new clip here, and I'll just put them both in place and make sure they're seated properly. Both ends are seated, clips are in place. The next thing to do is basically the exact same thing we just did here, except on the truck, so we'll have to put the drive shaft back in place. Alright, the new U-joints in the drive shaft. I've got the yoke all cleaned up under the truck here. I've just lined up my marks at the back. Now I'm going to put the drive shaft back in the transmission here. It was too hard to get the last part on video, but it's pretty much the same things I did last time. Hammering the caps in place, put the clips in there, so it's good to go.